How's it going? Welcome back, my beautiful sinners. If you're new to the channel, make sure that you go down below and subscribe. And before I start this video, I just want a quick shout out to my Spotify. Please go listen to my new song, Supernova. And if you like it, give it a save, and I would really appreciate it because I worked super hard on this track. Welcome back, my sinners and disciples of the Savior community and channel. If you're new, like I said, go down below and subscribe. You don't want to miss out on this growing community. We expose the establishment. We make all kinds of videos here, from philosophical videos to entertainment gaming videos, so stick around. Now today, boys, I've got a very special video for you. I'm going to give you my quick review of this new video game that's coming out tomorrow. Now, I managed to play an early access build of it. This review is based on the preview build of the game. I have played more than the demo, but it is still the preview. It's not the final release, so just bear that in mind. But I'm pretty sure I understand exactly how the full game will be. Of course, there's going to be more surprises, but that's part of the fun with a game like this. So this is my review of Silt. In this Silt review, that's a pretty weird title name, Silt. Ooh, it sounds like you've got some kind of sexual disease. Oh, poor Caroline, she's got the silt again. Bless her soul. You better give Caroline here some pumpkin juice to cure that disgusting silt that she's got. So this is my Silt review, my Silt Game review. I'm sure most people who have played this or just looking at it are probably thinking, hey, this is exactly like Limbo. And you would be right in thinking that, because the art style is very similar to Limbo, but in fact I think the art style here is far more interesting, and it's got a very Tim Burton type dark feeling to it. Limbo was very nice to look at and I enjoyed the art style of that game, but Silt to me is far more interesting because the complexity of the art style within this game is just so interesting to look at. And like I said, it feels like something from Tim Burton, but I just love the detail. Of course, this is a 2D game, but at the same time, it feels like a living and breathing world because of the complexity of the art style here. It's just so unique, and everything is in black and white. So the lighting here makes everything feel way more impacting because it's a very dark game, not just within its art style, but within its themes and gameplay. But the use of lighting here is just so good. You know, the monsters, the creatures with their bright glowing eyes, and then the sea. I feel like it does such a great job at capturing the art style and the aesthetic nature of a dark, mature, and, you know, kind of murky, mysterious, underwater, creepy, you know, world. And I really like that. I think that is so cool. So number one, the aesthetic design is of course the thing that's going to appeal to most people, and for good reason, because this is pretty much art, okay? This is not just a game, this is art, and the artists behind this game are clearly very talented, and I just think it's absolutely beautiful to look at. And yeah, it just feels so, you know, like tactile and just so detailed, and I just enjoy it way more than Limbo. So what do you actually do in the game? What is the gameplay? Well, like I said, this is very much like Limbo and like Inside. If you've played Abzu, it's kind of like that as well, except instead of being beautiful and bright and relaxing, this is creepy, tense, and sometimes terrifying, okay? But the gameplay is pretty much, you know, just you go from one section to another section. You know, it's broken up into these little loading screens, and you know, it's not like an open world free-flowing kind of game. I think this game would flow better if it wasn't broken up into little sections and loading screens, but still, you know, it's basically a puzzle game. You know, each new section, each new level, if you want to think of it as levels, have different puzzles for you to solve. It's also got a little bit of exploration in it, but not exactly, because you can't go where you want. It's a very linear type game. And pretty much the thing that's different about this game is you have the power to control sea creatures to basically, you know, change the environment around you. So if you're stuck in one place, you can control a fish who will be able to cut through, you know, these ropes that bind you, or control a shark to smash through something, or control like an octopus to grab something, or, you know, a sea creature to attack another sea creature, stuff like that. And that's super cool, but this game is way more focused on, you know, just pushing through and seeing what's at the end of the tunnel, and it's a very linear, focused experience, and it's very tense. And the next thing that I love about this game is the sound design, because when you have an art style that is kind of barren, but still very detailed, but you know, it's not like an open world 3D environment, so you've got these beautiful artistic landscapes to look at, and this game isn't filled with a bunch of clutter, okay? So the landscape is pretty barren, but I do like that because it makes you focus on the smaller things like the sound design, and the sound design here is so great. The music is very subtle, and it plays, it's kind of like Red Dead Redemption where it just kind of chimes in and chimes out. It's not playing the whole time, and I like that because my favorite soundtrack is probably Dark Souls, because I love the fact that the absence of music creates a way more tense and scary environment, and when the music does come in, it's so impactful. And this has a similar approach to sound design with its music. The sound design is also great with its sea creatures. You can hear these creepy noises, you know, going off in the background, which makes you feel, you know, threatened, and it's very tense. This isn't the type of game that is going to make you feel relaxed and calm, but it does have those moments, I guess, but not exactly. So the sound design here is great, and the sea creatures, everything about it, the, you know, kind of empty atmosphere is just so impactful. The other comparison I'm going to make might surprise you, but the story is in some ways like Dark Souls. Obviously, it's nothing like Dark Souls, and I know that's a bit of a meme to compare things to Dark Souls, because obviously this doesn't have any combat or anything like that exactly. But what I mean by that is the storytelling here is very subtle, okay, and it doesn't tell you what the story is. And basically, you're chained at the bottom of the ocean and you're exploring this abyss, and you're trying to, you know, basically find the way out, to try and find the light. For me, I love stories and media that doesn't tell you exactly what this is actually supposed to be about. You know, it basically leaves it open for interpretation, and it expects the players to be intelligent enough and creative enough to actually think of their own stories, their own backstories, and wonder, and you know, the rest is just filled in by your imagination. I love that kind of storytelling. And there is a story here, but it's very subtle. Like I said, you do kind of piece the story together as you progress through the game. So Silt isn't a survival game, even though it kind of looks like it is, and it's not exactly a story game where, you know, Inside, I would say, is kind of a narrative-focused game, because that is also very mysterious, but it does have a great, strong narrative. In my opinion, if you look into it, I would also say that this game is more forgiving than Limbo, which is kind of a shame, because this game would feel way more tense, and it would have that feeling of horror way more if it was a little bit more punishing, because if you do fail, then you basically just respawn at the most recent checkpoint, and it's very forgiving with its checkpoints, so it doesn't feel like you have to pay attention. You know, it's more of just like a mind teaser, and it feels like you're going on this drug journey in a way, because it's so crazy to look at and so different with each new place that you discover. I feel like Silt lost out on its potential to be way more gripping and scary if it was just a little bit more difficult, okay? But it's so forgiving with its checkpoints that it loses a lot of its suspense, which is a shame to me. But at the end of the day, this is more of a puzzle game. It feels more like a journey, like a crazy, trippy drug journey that you're going on, because each new location is so crazy and so different, and it looks so amazing. But I just feel like it would be way more immersive if it was a little bit more difficult, and it would be way more tense. Now, in this Silt review, I'm going to talk about the bad, okay? And there's not too much to be said that's bad about this game, because, you know, it's very focused on trying to do one thing. You know, it's not trying to be a complicated game, and I like that. We need more games that are trying to be different, that are trying to be artistic. You know, it's not groundbreaking. The mechanics here are kind of copy and pasted from other similar games, which I feel is a little bit of a letdown. But, you know, it doesn't hold the game back. I just feel like it could be a little bit more original with its ideas, although there are some cool ideas here. And like I said, I feel like it could be more difficult, and that takes away the tension, which is a bit of a shame. And the other thing I don't like about it is pretty much it can get kind of repetitive after a while, because it does feel sometimes like you're playing the same puzzles over and over again, even though they are different. Just some areas kind of reuse the same ideas. And as a linear game, I feel like each thing should be fresh, like It Takes Two, which did such an amazing job of making every area fresh and interesting. This is the end of my Silt review, and in this part I just basically sum up if it's worth your time or not. I would say yes, definitely this is worth your time if you appreciate art in video games, if you appreciate something different, and if you enjoy games like Limbo or Inside, then you're definitely gonna like this. And I do love that this is a very different approach, because we haven't seen that type of game in an underwater environment, and I love underwater environments in video games. In fact, it's my favorite thing, because I just love the sea and diving in real life. So yeah, this is great. And if you don't like that type of game, then I would skip on it, because it's not going to be for you. But if you do like that type of 2D adventure puzzle type game, then this is definitely worth getting. And it's not asking for too much money, and the developers aren't complete scumbags. This is a single player experience. It's got no microtransactions. It's got none of the BS modern day gaming trends in it. So I would say it's definitely something that we need to support in the industry. So yeah, that's my review of Silt. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Peace out.